Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well, getting some good images this winter season with all these awesome astrophotography targets that are out this time of year. Unfortunately, my 2600 is still out for repair, so I haven't been able to image much lately. But since the observatory is fully functional, it's done. I've been able to use it for these last 3-4 or about 2-3 months now. It was about a 3-month build from start to finish, and I figured it's well enough time to do a full in-depth tour of my backyard roll-off roof observatory. So hope you guys stay tuned for the rest of the video to see how I built and the functionality and the full tour of my roll-off roof observatory. As always, my name's Trevor and you're watching Astro Pilot. So for those who don't know, I built this roll-off roof observatory out of a 6x5 foot Aero Shed Select metal storage shed. I built it, we poured the concrete pad and anchored it down, and I modified everything else to the roll-off roof style of observatory. So I have a wooden structure on tracks to support the roof, and all in all it took me about 3 months to build it. I have officially named this observatory VSO, which stands for Very Small Observatory, because this thing ain't big at all. So let's go ahead and get right into it. I'll start out walking around the outside, explaining everything, how I did it, and the functionality of it. So yeah, let's get into it. So starting out, so here's the layout. It's coming right off from the back of the house. Got a little concrete sidewalk to it, a little step up here, and here is the concrete pad me and my dad poured for all the whole base of it. This is a really high quality build, actually, a lot sturdier than I expected with the metal shed design. It has a nice latch on it, so a very nice lockable door handle. So let's unlock now, so I can lock that, and it's really secure for the most part. Got the keys here, and I just always lock it up at night when I'm not using it. So that's that. Now we'll go ahead and look at the top. So with the whole roll-off roof build, there's a gap about that high. So I bought this 3-inch long neoprene rubber stripping and sealed it off on all sides so no weather or rain can get in at all. I've siliconed it. I've used a lot of silicone on this build. You can see the silicone sucked up the color of the stained wood, but that's all right. So yeah, it's pretty sturdy, a lot sturdier than any kind of plastic shed you could get. It's all screwed together. So yeah, I'll go ahead and walk around the side. So this is the west facing side. I've got the roof rolling off to the east. The only reason is I did it to the east so it wouldn't be obvious from the road that there's a roll-off structure and people would be like, oh, what is that? So this is the front. I unfortunately didn't have enough long piece of rubber here, so I had to patch it. So got this as good as I can, weather sealed on this side. There's a piece of wood, I'll show that from the inside, blocking any rain, and the rain should just roll off and not get inside any. So from this angle, it just looks like a normal shed. So on the back side, obviously the same thing right there. I do have 2 solar powered ventilation fans. Those are all screwed in. I cut out the existing vents to a circle and siliconed it and screwed it in. And these are solar powered, so once I get up on top, I'll show you how that's run. And here is the roll-off wood structure. These are stained 2x4s concreted into the ground. I wasn't too concerned about this having to be super structurally sound. I mean, it's super sturdy. I mean, it can support a lot of weight for sure. I added those 45s in and this crossbar here. I mean, this thing is not going anywhere. The roof only weighs about 40 or so pounds, so this is not going to be supporting any major weight. And I have the V-tracks running up top. I'll climb up here in a second just to show you. For the power and Ethernet situation for the ASI Air, I have run a extension cord underground. Got some conduit here going inside to the power strip. Siliconed that, sealed it. That has a cord running from the breaker box there down through here into the building, and the Ethernet cable runs from there around through the side of the wall under the house to the router inside the house. So that's that. So now I'll climb up here, show you the solar panel, and roll off rails. So here we are up on top. I'm on a ladder. Here is the solar panel, which powers those solar powered ventilation fans. I've just got it tacked up here, and the wire running under the roof. And the roof, just a metal roof screwed in. I've added some extra stability to it. I've screwed it into the base wood frame that I created for the roll-off roof structure. And here are the rails, which is sitting on top of a stained 1x4 going across. I cut these to length, and I've made some stoppers there for the roof so it doesn't keep on rolling. Those are just bolts screwed into the wood. Same on both sides. So that's about all there is to see up here. Got some holes there where no creatures can get in there. Try to seal it off as much as I could. Still get some bugs in there during peak time, but other than that, no problem at all. And here's just a piece of metal shielding this side from the weather. So yeah, I think it's time to go inside and show you guys around in the inside of the observatory. Roll off the roof, show you guys how it works. So let's go inside. All right, so here we are going into the observatory. Ta-da! So I don't have a telescope mounted in here right now since I'm out of a camera. I've been organizing things in here. So right now I've just got the Sirius EQG inside waiting on my camera to get back from repair to start imaging again. So first off, you can see I've done everything. I've insulated everything, including the roof. Got the concrete pier and flooring. So we'll step inside. I didn't want to have just a bare concrete floor because if you drop something like a camera or anything of value in astrophotography, it's probably going to break. So I've got some of these 1 inch thick workout mats, like gym mats, and I made this my flooring, and I was able to run all the wiring for power underneath, so it's all hidden, and it gives a nice cushion for anything that drops. And while you're standing in here, it's a lot more comfortable than just concrete, and it gives it a nice look. Secondly, I'll go ahead and shut the door. Also, you can see I've added LED lighting to the observatory. These are wirelessly controlled TP-Link LED lights. Also has a control box here so I can turn them on and off. Got that wired in the wall, under the floor, into the power strip. We'll get into that in a second. But one of the first things I want to show you in here is the insulation. So this is Reflectix bubble insulation, but also underneath this I have 1/2 inch thick foam board insulation with a reflective backing as well. So this is very nice temperature control, especially in the summertime when it gets hot. And yeah, I did the same thing with the door. Everything is just super reflective in here. It looks crazy, but it gives it a nice finished look. Also did the roof as well. And since the last time you've seen it in here, I've went ahead and stained all visible pieces of wood in here, so it gives it a nice finished look for sure. And got some shelving, keep my stuff in here, flat panels, doohickers, all just tools, eyepieces if I ever want to do visual, and all the tools and little screws and parts that you need when you're working on telescopes and whatnot, and just various accessories, some power cords, flat panel, and just some random stuff in there. So yeah, added that little shelf in here just for some storage. Also, here is where the power leads come out. So that's that PVC pipe. Got power and Ethernet and the light cord going under here, coming up to this power strip. Reflective insulation tape is very strong, and it's held this to the concrete for ever since I started, so that's really good stuff. This is a pretty large power strip with some USBs. I've got the camera, lights. That's all run. The power situation on the pier, that's the ASI Air power supply, and then my mount power supply, which I have upgraded to a 13.8 volt power supply for the Sirius EQG. I recommend everybody upgrading voltage on an HEQ5 or similar mount because it tracks a lot better. Last month I took this apart, adjusted the backlash, re-greased the gears in here. I just tuned the mount up a little bit, didn't do a full hyper tune or anything, but I'm guiding between 0.4 and 0.8 RMS error minimum. So I'm getting really good guiding even with a lot of weight on here. It's doing really well. So anybody that's looking to improve their mount, get a 13 or 14 volt power supply and just bump that normal 12 volt up to 13 or 14, and it gives those motors just a little bit more oomph to keep on tracking without dipping down in power. Aside from that, I do have a security camera in here, both for security and observation while things are going. So I want to always make sure the mount does a meridian flip accurately. So without having to come outside, I can just wirelessly look at my iPad at the camera, make sure everything's going all right. I do have it taped over with the IR lights because you don't want any infrared light leakage while you're imaging. There is the solar power ventilation fans right there. So obviously it's cloudy outside, so they're not running, but I can plug them in from the inside if I want to. I've got some doors here. I can just pop those open for extra ventilation, especially when it's hot outside, but in the cold, I keep it sealed up. Ventilation is key to having a good airflow inside to keep the humidity down and to keep condensation down, because condensation was my biggest concern after building the observatory. So far I've only had one instance. I've come in at night and there's been dew on here. That was when it was really humid outside and the temperature got to the dew point temperature, and it just, on all the metal surfaces, it was just condensation. So I turned those fans on, turned the fan on down here, and after a while it cured it. I put some dew bands on the scope and stuff, and it took care of it. But in that situation, I now have a fan out here and a small space heater. So at times, if it's got some dew in here and it's really cold, or a night after I've shut the roof back on and it's everything's wet, walls are wet, I can just shut the roof, turn that heater on for about 5 minutes, gets the temperature up in here, and it takes care of all the condensation, and it does a really good job. So I've just got those two things to help out when I need to have some extra temperature control and take care of any condensation or cold or any excessive heat. It does a really good job. So that's about it inside. I've got some art in here, some star maps, Andromeda, or some major, just some decor to look at. Orion. Got these positioned in ways so you can still observe while you're outside here. So I guess we can go ahead and roll off the roof. I have 2 latches on the roof. These hasp latches, they just fold down like that. One there and one here. And it's as simple as that. And with a push of a finger, I can roll off the roof. And there we have it. That is the functionality of the roll-off roof observatory. I've got me a little handle here to pull it back, but really smooth on these V-tracks. And this is the view from the observatory. Good view to the south, good view to the east, pretty good view to the north as well, and west. So overall, I'm extremely happy with how I was able to construct this. I couldn't ask for more, really. This is just a huge change to astrophotography. No more coming out, setting up your rig, tearing it down. A lot of wasted time when it comes to all that, setting up in your backyard. But yeah, I'm really happy with this. That's about all I have for this video. I'm just really happy with how this has been working. Unfortunately, I still have my ASI 2600 out for repair by ZWO. It's a week from Christmas now, so hope you guys have a good Christmas. Hopefully I'll get my camera back by January, mid-January. Hopefully. It's been about a month now since they've had it. So hopefully I'll get it back and be up and running. I know I've missed out on a few targets like the Orion Nebula, but I'll still have plenty of time to image. Quick announcement, I am looking for a 8-inch Newtonian reflector. I think that's going to be my next telescope. As much as I like the RC6, I will probably part ways with it if I am able to get a hold of an 8-inch Newtonian, preferably like an f5 at 1000 millimeters focal length. I'm just really wanting something fast, big aperture, imaging beast. I do like the RC6. The collimation is kind of tricky, tilt is tricky, but overall it's a good scope. The downside of it is the speed. At f9, you can't do narrowband very easily, especially with the L Extreme filter. At f9, it's hard to detect stars while stacking, so that's what got me thinking about a faster rig. But other than that, it's a good scope. We'll see how I do with it in the future, but I am on the hunt for a fast Newtonian for some good astrophotography. But for now, got a few upgrades coming here after Christmas. I'll show you. But here, when I get my ASI 2600 back, I'll be using the Zenithstar 61 and get some nice wide field data. But go ahead and step outside here and end out the video. And so yeah. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this in-depth tour of my roll-off roof observatory. This is my gateway to the universe, so to say, to be dramatic. This is literally my gateway to imaging the universe. Astrophotography still doesn't cease to amaze me. It's an amazing hobby. Love it. Really can't think of a better hobby to do in terms of astronomy. Astrophotography is just an amazing hobby, and I'll never get tired of it. One more thing, I'm thinking about transitioning to PixInsight. The big step from Adobe to PixInsight. I know it's a tough learning curve, but I believe I'm going to start looking into maybe transitioning to PixInsight, and a lot more advanced things you can do with that program that you can't with Adobe. So that's another thing I wanted to mention. Other than that, that's about all I have for this video. Stay tuned for the near future when I get my ASI 2600 back. Be able to do some awesome imaging, hopefully. So until then, I'm gonna hang tight and wait for clear skies. So hope you guys enjoyed this tour of my observatory, and until next time, I wish everybody clear skies. You've been watching Astropilot. Thank you.